26. Gem. I'm too late. Yuan is falling before my eyes. Cracks as wide across as my body snake up the surface of the dome. Stones tumble from the wall walks, making skittering sounds beneath the moaning of the buckling metal that once fused the glass to the rock. Bizarrely shaped smoothskins unlike any I encountered during my captivity, partial mutants that I assume are the Banished that Isra spoke of, and a few starving animals stream away from the once healthy city in a seemingly endless ribbon across the desert. The last of them emerged from the desert gate less than an hour ago. Isra was not among them, but I didn't expect her to be. There's a reason the city is crumbling to pieces. Isra is gone. Not gone, murdered, and the city along with her, while you walked away and stayed away, wallowing in your weakness. You might as well have slit her throat that first night. You're the reason she's dead. Add another name too. I begin to hum beneath my breath, one of the songs Isra taught me, a complicated tune with as many ups and downs as the path over the mountains that brought me back to Yuan from the wilds where I lost myself for months. Singing drowns out the terrible thoughts. Sometimes I imagine singing to Harem, the son I'd held for the first time the day I lifted him to his funeral pyre. Sometimes I imagine Father singing along in the deep, steady voice of my childhood, banishing from my memory the confused whimpers of his last days. By the time I returned, Father no longer knew me. He called me by his brother's name. He asked where our sisters were. He smiled and told stories about his new mate, as if he were a young man and he and mother just married. He cried like a child, begging me to bring a light into the hut because he was afraid of the dark. He died in his sleep a week after I returned. I never got to say goodbye to the man I remembered. Gare blamed me for that too. He blamed me for Father's broken mind. He blamed me for the 20 dead before I brought the food. He blamed me for the hopeless future when the carefully rationed provisions eventually ran out. He said I should have taken the roses and Isra and made Yuan's dark curse our own. He called for a war party to be formed and returned to Yuan to capture the roses and the queen at any cost, to kill every smoothskin we could and avenge our tribe. Our usually peace-minded chief agreed, but the final decision for war was taken to our people. It failed by one vote. Mir's mother said no. She said Mir wouldn't have wanted to live if it meant binding our tribe to dark magic. She said Mir wouldn't have wanted her son to be raised under the shadow of evil, or for me to lose the woman I love. I told my people what I felt for Isra. Most of them assumed my head had been damaged by my time spent under the dome. I close my eyes now and let my head fall back against the warm rock behind me. Isra. Thinking her name is enough to rip me apart. I was sure I was done with these feelings. I thought I'd known the worst pain any man could imagine, but I was wrong. There is still more pain. New pain. The worst pain. I am a broken man. Without Isra, I will never be whole again. There is nothing left to hope for, no reason to keep living. I imagine that the worst thing awaiting me in Yuan would be explaining to Isra why it took me so long to return, asking her forgiveness, hoping she could understand how lost I was. But this, by the ancestors. I should have known it was possible. I should have prepared myself. You knew. You refused to prepare. Coward. I'm not a coward, I whisper. I never betrayed her. I never lied. I never took the easy way, even when Gare, the last living member of my family, disowned me before the tribe. When he said a lover of the smoothskins would receive no death wails from his throat, and vowed to let my body rot on the ground if I were foolish enough to die before he does. He won't give me the release of a funeral fire. He hates me that much. I don't hate him. But I would have fought him if he tried to hurt Isra. I would have killed him if I had to. My own brother. I'm no better than he is. But I'm not a coward, I choke out. No, you're not. A soft voice, a girl's voice. My eyes fly open, some desperate part of me hoping I'll see Isra, though I know her voice is deeper and richer than the one I heard. Instead, I find Needle standing at the base of the rocks. I climbed last night and haven't bothered to leave all day. She looks up at me, her golden skin rosy in the fading light, her black eyes glittering with wonder. She looks complete. I can speak. She blinks, sending twin streams of water racing down her cheeks. For the first time in my life, I was born without the parts I needed to make words, but a few minutes ago I felt. Her fingers touch her throat, her awe clear in the trembling. It's magic. Isra was right. Everything in the Queen's diary is true. The curse is breaking. Isra. Is she? I falter and start again. Is she? She's in the tower. My chest explodes with a relief brighter and purer than anything I'd feel again. She's alive, I say, just to hear the words out loud. Then again, she's alive. We must return to the city, quickly. Needle drops the pack slung over her shoulder onto the ground and backs away towards the dome. She thinks you're dead, and she's determined to die too, she says, sending my heart plummeting into my stomach. She wanted to stay with the city until it falls, to put an end to the covenant, but now that you're here. As if in response to her words, a terrible sound, like thunder, 100 times sharper and closer, erupts from the direction of Yuan. Needle wheels to look. I lift my eyes in time to see a chunk of the dome as big as the stones I'm standing on break away from the rest and fall. Farther, farther, until it finally collides with one of the buildings at the city center, sending the structure tumbling to the ground. A little farther to the left, and the thick shattered glass would have destroyed Isra's tower. I jump from the rock and hit the ground running. Wait! Needle calls as I race by her. I glance over my shoulder to find she's already running after me. There are soldiers still in the city, she says. They have orders to kill Isra if she leaves her rooms. Why? I ask, slowing just enough for Needle to keep up. Genji forced her to marry his son, she says, making my stomach knot. But there's no time to think about what Isra's marriage means for us. I have to save her life. That's all that matters. I can't be too late again. I won't survive it. Once she's dead, Bo can marry again, Needle continues, moving quickly for someone so small, though she seems larger than I can remember her. Larger and stronger, with muscled calves peeking out from beneath her simple gray dress. Isra was walling herself inside her room to try and protect herself, but if you hurry you can reach her before she finishes. Go, she pants. You can run faster. I'll wait for you both by the stones. I've just started to push harder when Needle cries out, Get her out, Jem! Kill the others if you have no choice. I stop for one precious moment and turn back with a nod. Needle sighs with a mixture of relief and fear I completely understand. Isra has to live. She has to see this, she says, arms sweeping out as if she'll embrace the entire desert. It is only then that I notice the color in the desert. Patches of green and gold and black and blue prick at my eyes. Golden grass pushes up from the crumbling earth. Green teases the branches of trees that have been dead for decades. Bruised blue and black storm clouds sweep over the mountains, smelling of sweating metal and new grass and the sweetness that comes just before rain. I can't remember the last time it rained. I can't remember the last time I saw a storm cloud. It's been years. Something's happening, something miraculous, and Isra has to see it. She has to know the world can change, no matter how hard the road has been to get to this place or how viciously the old world will fight to keep us from walking out of that dying city. There is hope for her, for me, for all our people. With one last glance at the clouds rolling across the sky, blanketing the sizzling desert with a cool promise, I run for the dome. I run faster than I ever have run. I run to her, for her, my Isra.